It's good you cited education as a sector which has considered, which has suffered a lot of damage and continues to suffer a lot of damage, and which is important, which is very sad, because education is critical. I did say earlier on that one of the ways of lifting the Africans out of poverty is through education, because it has to be sound, solid, relevant education. It's also a sector in which quality is what matters, and professionalism. We now found a situation where a government, which is basically a demagogic government, which believed in really, waving sort of a mirage before the eyes of the people, and it tells them free education, free girls' education, schools all over, high schools all over, but in fact quality and substance wise is really nothing. The country has, when the statistics are there every year, the Gambia is part of the West African Exams Council, and the results come out, and it's a situation where the educational system has broken down, which means the future of the Gambia is largely compromised. And anybody coming in, me or anybody coming in, certainly has a huge task to do, and it has been easy for Jammeh to do so again, because perhaps our people have not been discerning enough. They have not been discerning enough. You see, education is a product, and it's a quality product. It should be. It's not the question of it's only on the Jammeh that I hear of people trying to measure educational progress in terms of number of classroom blocks built. that is not education. Education is actually what you get out of it. And the government that was in power until he came power had very sound strategies. We had very sound strategies. We insisted on training teachers. Of course, the demand far outpaced, so we had to sometimes source teachers from elsewhere. But more importantly, we recognized the role of strategic partners that were mainly missionaries, that from colonial days were very active in education, and they built a whole world of experience in running good quality and managing good quality schools. So we didn't come and push them out of the way because we wanted the world to say, the government built all these schools. We said we'll work with them, and we evolved a policy whereby, in fact, most of the secondary schools were owned by them, owned in quotes, owned because owned in the sense that they ran them. But the people who benefited are the Gambians, and that's what we're after. What we were after is the quality of education that goes to Gambian citizens. So therefore, if the missions are building good schools, we went and worked in partnership with them by providing the wherewithal without which they couldn't work, the money. They provided the know-how, in terms of and their past experience of running schools in an excellent manner, but we provided through subvention, and that saved us from the trouble of having to build so many government-owned schools. Now, this unfortunately is what Jammeh, his demagogy has been exploiting, because he sits around and says, "I have built schools. The government has built schools, but you build you put up classroom blocks." The software is not there, the teachers the materials are not there, and the result is what we are having. So it's really very sad. But I confirm what the point you said, that whoever takes over the situation that Jammeh is going to leave behind will have education as one of the big challenges. There is a whole generation which is largely wasted, in the sense that they've been denied a proper education, and just because that's what Jammeh uses as his political thing, just to say, I've built schools, I built schools, I built schools.